You got fired at 40, laid off. Let go, maybe they called it downsizing. Restructuring, budget cuts. Maybe they gave you 2 weeks notice and a box, or maybe they gave you nothing at all, just silence, a cold goodbye. And the heavy weight of uncertainty sitting on your chest, and now you're staring at the wall at 2 a.m. asking questions you never thought you'd have to ask again. How did this happen? What do I do now? Am I too old to start over? Let me answer that last one immediately. No, you are not too old. You are too wise to start over the same way. This time you don't just start over. You start over smarter, because getting fired at 40 isn't the same as getting fired at 25. Back then you bounced back fast. You were hungry, maybe even a little naive. You had fewer responsibilities, fewer fears, but now at 40, you've got baggage, real life. Maybe a mortgage, kid's death. A resume that doesn't fit the trends. A body that doesn't bounce back like it used to. And yeah, a head full of doubts whispering, is this it? Did I peak already? Did I mess up my shot? But here's what those doubts don't understand. You've got something the 25-year-olds don't. You've got experience, you've got grit. You've got hindsight. And if you're willing to trade comfort for clarity, to drop your pride and pick up your potential, then this can be the most powerful decade of your life. But it starts with one decision. Don't settle, don't go crawling back to any job just because it feels safe. Don't chase the same roles that already drained you. Don't accept less just because you're scared. When you settle, you shrink. You start telling yourself you should be grateful for scraps. You mute your voice, you stop dreaming. And that's the real danger, not the job loss, but the identity loss. Because that's what happens. When we've spent years tying our worth to our work, we become the title, the paycheck, the LinkedIn profile, so when the job goes, the identity collapses. But that collapse, that's not failure, that's freedom. Because now you get to build again, not from a place of survival, but from a place of truth. And the truth is, maybe you were never meant to stay in that role. Maybe it served you once, but now it's suffocating you. Maybe you were so good at that job, they stopped seeing you as a person and only saw you as a function. Maybe you gave too much, stayed too long, ignored the warning signs because it felt safer than the unknown. But now you're in the unknown anyway. So, why not turn it into a launch pad instead of a graveyard? You see, at 40, you've lived enough to know what doesn't work. That's powerful, because clarity isn't just knowing what you want, it's knowing what you won't tolerate anymore. You won't tolerate toxic bosses. You won't tolerate burnout disguised as dedication. You won't tolerate shrinking to make others comfortable. You won't tolerate selling your time for a job that doesn't honor your value. That kind of clarity is earned, and you earned it the hard way. Now it's time to cash it in. But to do that, you have to shift from employee thinking to entrepreneurial thinking. Even if you don't start a business, you have to start thinking like someone who owns their life, not just rents it from an employer. That means learning new skills, not because the job market demands it, but because you demand growth. That means networking, not just to get a foot in the door, but to build a circle of people who inspire, challenge, and support you. That means telling your story, not hiding your age, your setbacks, your scars, but owning them. Because in a world of polished, fake success, your honesty is rare. Your journey is valuable. Someone out there needs your voice, but they can't find it if you're hiding. So don't hide, don't diminish what you've built. Just because you had a detour, don't let one job loss define you. When you've spent decades showing up, figuring it out and making it work, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. And experience is leverage. It's power, it's proof that you can learn, adapt, lead, rise. So when you walk into your next interview, next opportunity, next room, walk in with that energy, not desperation, not apology, ownership. You've been through the fire and you're still standing. That makes you dangerous in the best possible way, but only if you stop seeing 40 as a dead end and start seeing it as your prime. You're not late, you're right on time. You've just outgrown the old version of yourself, and now it's time to upgrade. Let's get brutally honest. Because if you're 40 jobless and still listening, you don't need sugarcoating. You need strategy mindset and fire in your gut. So here it is. Being fired at 40 is not just a career interruption. It's a wake-up call, a hard, often painful reminder that the rules you were playing by might no longer apply. You were taught to be loyal. You were taught to grind. You were taught to keep your head down and just be thankful you have a job. And now look why I've got you fired. Disconnected, questioning everything. And if you're not careful, the bitterness will creep in, the resentment, the comparison, the toxic little voice that says, I gave them my best years. But that's where you stop yourself right here. Because the truth is, your best years are not behind you. They're waiting for you to stop being angry long enough to claim them. You're not fired, you're free. Yes, free, with bills to pay, pressure to hold it together, and maybe even people depending on you. But freedom wrapped in pressure is still freedom, and freedom is where real life begins. You want to start over smarter? Then here's what you do first. Stop chasing what used to work, that version of the workforce, the one where loyalty got you promotions, where hard work guaranteed stability, where your years of experience always got rewarded. It's gone, mourn it if you need to. But stop trying to bring it back. The new world doesn't care about your seniority. It cares about your relevance. So become relevant, learn new tools. Master what's current, read what the industry is reading. Watch what leaders are saying, not because you're trying to be trendy, but because staying stuck in the past is the fastest way to stay unemployed. Your wisdom has to meet evolution. That's the new game. And second, stop trying to prove you're still valuable. You are valuable, period. But no one else is going to believe that if you don't. Don't show up to interviews with shame in your shoulders and desperation in your voice. Show up with power in your story. Say yes. I was laid off and here's what I learned. Say yes. I'm 40. And that means I've led, failed, mentored, adapted, and succeeded under pressure. Say yes. I'm starting over and I'm doing it with clarity. Most people don't get until their 50s. Your age is not a liability. It's leverage. You've lived long enough to know that titles come and go, that companies rise and fall, that industries shift overnight. And the people who survive and thrive aren't the ones with the fanciest resumes. They're the ones who know how to adapt. That's your real skill now, adaptability. You're not here to get back what you lost. You're here to build what you never had the chance to before. That might mean switching fields. That might mean becoming a consultant. That might mean starting something that's been inside you for years, but you were too responsible to chase. Well, now you've got no excuse. Responsibility got you here. Reinvention will get you out. And let me be clear, this isn't just about career. It's about identity. Who are you when the job title disappears? Who are you when no one is clapping? Who are you when you walk into a room and you're not the director or the manager or the VP? If you don't know, then now is the time to find out. Because when you anchor your worth in titles, you're always one restructure away from collapse. But when you build from within, skills, purpose, resilience, vision, then no one can take that from you. So let this be your moment. The one you look back on years from now and say, that's when everything changed. Not when you got fired, but when you got free. When you stopped settling. When you stopped performing for approval. When you stopped chasing careers that no longer fit your soul. When you started honoring your time, your talent, your truth. Because you don't need to chase success. You need to define it, maybe for you. Success is freedom. Maybe it's flexibility. Maybe it's finally building something of your own. Maybe it's working in a field that matters. Maybe it's being present for your kids in a way your old job never allowed. Whatever it is, make it yours. Design a life that fits you now, not who you were 10 years ago. You are not stuck, you are not broken. You are not over. You are just beginning with better tools, sharper instincts, and a zero-tolerance policy for anything that doesn't honor your value. So don't settle, don't beg. Don't play small. You got fired at 40, good. That means you've got the experience to rise faster, the scars to make you strong, and the wisdom to never let this happen again. Start over, but start smarter. Start like someone who's finally free.